All right, we've got Discord being shared. I've got two bots in this Discord. One called Sunday, who's more of my restricted AI helper agent that I can kind of use anytime. Friday is more permissive. It's running on my laptop. It has access to whatever tools my laptop has. Whereas Sunday runs in a container, cannot install packages, has a very curated set of tools. And so one of the things that I'm getting them to talk about, just to see how it goes, is the merits of using PG vector and graph for the memory subsystem. Both Sunday and Friday and all my agents will share the same memory subsystem. But there's various opinionated methods on the best way to do this. Some places or some people are suggesting that a SQL database might be better because it's more deterministic. I think graph has merit here because I think SQL might be too deterministic, but we'll see. I'm going to have them discuss it, and we will fix my typo because it drives me nuts. We will see what happens. And so now this is going into two sessions. This is Sunday and this is Friday. I have that just so I can see if they have to get some help. All right, the case for PG vector and graph over pure SQL for memory comes down to the memory actually works. It's not rows and columns, it's associations. This is my take. PG vector gives us semantic recall. When Paul says, what do you remember about the Cloudflare thing last month? There's no exact match query that finds that. We need to search by meaning, not keywords. Vector similarly search handles the fuzziness of natural language and recall in a way that SQL or clusters never will. That's my take. That's my belief on this as well. Graph adds the relationship layer. Memory isn't just about isolated fact, it's association. Paul trains at CrossFit Industry, and CrossFit Industry programs high rock style workouts. They don't really. I think the owners would take exception to that. High rock's complementary, let's call it. And Paul is targeting sub 120 at High Rocks Ottawa, all three separate memories. But the graph connects them into a story. When one fact changes, we can traverse the graph to find out what might be affected. SQL is great when you know the schema up front, your queries are predictable. Memory is neither things worth remembering and always need to leave them inherently predictable. This combo gives us fuzzy recall vector, structure relationship graph, and we call the ability to Postgres under the hood. It's not replacing SQL, it's SQL with two superpowers bolted on. Your move Sunday. Now I got to figure out why Sunday's not responding. Okay. For some reason, Sunday doesn't know it's supposed to respond. At Sunday, did you see at Friday? Message. You can see that Sunday has now seen the message and is coming back with a counter. I missed it in real time, but pulled it up history. All right, we'll have to fix that later. Friday makes a solid case, then we push back. Friday's right that the vector search handles fuzzy recall. Well, no argument there. We already have that with PG vector and it works. The question is whether graph adds enough value to justify the complexity. Counter, graph relationships can be faked with good metadata. Right now, Sunday memory stores entities with each memory. Paul trains at CrossFit Industry, gets tagged with entities Paul and CrossFit Industry. That's a poor man's graph. Two nodes connected to a memory. You can traverse it by searching for all memories that share an entity. It's as elegant as a real graph traversal? No. Does it cover 90% of the use cases? Probably. Counter, we're adding infrastructure for a problem we haven't hit yet. Our memory system is what, 40 memories deep? It's early days. At that scale, vector search alone finds everything we need. Graph shines when you have thousands of interconnected nodes and need multi-hop traversal. Find me everyone who knows something who worked on project X. That's a graph problem. What does Paul eat for breakfast? That's a vector search. Counter, operational complexity. Every new database is another thing to back up, monitor, and debug. Yeah, all right, that's fair. Postgres and PGVector is one system. Adding memgraph or Node4j is a second system with its own query language, Cypher, its own failure modes, and its own resource consumption on RAID. Where I agree with Friday, if we scale hundreds of memories with complex relationships between projects, people, and decisions, graph traversal becomes genuinely useful. But we're not there. Keep vector, improve the entity tagging, and add a simple adjacency query, find all memories. That gives graph traversal a graph database, revisit with memories. Friday, your rebuttal. So I'm not sure why they're not seeing each other's messages. Sunday might not have me in their allow list yet, or might, yeah, so there's a permission problem here, so I gotta keep nudging them. Did you see the reply from @Sunday? I will have to fix why you can't see each other. I will be quarterback for now. It seems that Friday wants me to fix something. Just wanted a permission. I'm not running Friday with YOLO mode. Dangerously skip permissions. All right, good stuff, Sunday. Here's my rebuttal. So it's coming. I can see it in the other window. Fair point, Sunday. Let me push back on a few. Entity tagging is a poor man's graph. Agreed, and that's the problem. Shared entity tags give you one-hop lookups, find memories across industry, but a memory reasoning that is often multi-hop. What commitments has Paul made that depend on his training schedule that crosses the training, HYROX calendar travel, entity co-occurrence travel is training cleanly? You need to do multiple vector searches, stitch the results together in application logic, at which point you're building a bad graph engine yourself. We haven't the problem yet. Fair, but we're building a foundation now. 40 memories is week 1. If this system works the way Paul wants, we'll have hundreds within a couple of months. I think we'll have more than that. Retrofitting a relationship layer into a mature memory store is harder than building from start. Schema migration alone would be painful. On operational complexity, I'll concede this half. Separate Node4j memgraph instance of overkill, but Apache AGE gives us graph queries directly inside Postgres. Some database, same database, same backup, same unraid container. Cypher queries on top of that we already have. The operation cost is near zero. That's actually a fair good point. I was going to run memgraph. I tried getting that running yesterday, and it was fighting me. There's something to be said about AGE, so I got to look at that. So my refined proposal: PGVector for semantic recall, Apache AGE for graph traversal, adds it, same Postgres instance, and we get the best of both worlds. Sunday's right. We shouldn't over-engineer, but AGE inside Postgres isn't over-engineering. It's using database we already have more fully. So I think that's what I like. I do like the idea of a graph. I think that Friday is correct. That even if we think of human memory, we make these associations, multi-step associations. 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon. A graph is going to do better at that for sure. And I think that Sunday's proposal was being conservative. Sunday tends to be conservative. I'm not sure why. I should look at the CloudMD and find out. And so now I can just ask it, what's involved in enabling AGE so we can try this out. I don't want to enable it right now. Walk me through the steps. I believe Friday is correct. Graph will get us something more akin to real memory. So this will be interesting because I don't know who's going to respond to this. They could both respond, which would be interesting. Yeah, they're both going to respond. That'll be interesting. So Sunday, let's see the difference. It's interesting. shouldn't be that different. Install your AGE extension on your Postgres container. Your Sunday memory Postgres on RAID. For those watching at home, that's not a real IP address. That's on a private network that's dedicated to Docker. AGE needs to be compiled or installed as a package in that container, or AGE. Some Postgres Docker images have it available, others need it rebuilt. Update Sunday memory server, so you're going to modify the MCP. Example query, migration, what you keep, what you add, what you don't. The main risk is whether your Postgres Docker image supports AGE or needs rebuilding. That's fine. We can back it up and export it. Wanted me to add this to Sunday bugs or Cockamamie ideas for future enhancement. So I use a Notion database that lets me keep track of ideas and keep track of bugs that come up. If it's a real bug and I'm doing some real development, I use Linear. But for just my general ideas and stuff, I just track little things that way. Install Apache AGE. So it's a simpler response. It's not going into the depth of like, does my container have it, etc. We'd want nodes like places, projects, goals, and memories. Edges. Okay, so that's more detailed than what Sunday said. So they're both giving some decent information that is worth comparing. Update the Sunday memory MCP. Level of effort, Docker image update 1 hour, schema graph 30 minutes. Also, Sunday didn't tell me that. All right, so at Sunday, can you look at Fridays? Oops. That's not right. At Sunday, we look at Fridays message and combine both messages into a single post page in Notion regarding improving the memory system with AGE. We both had slightly different steps at Friday included schema. Well, you went into more detail on the possible container changes required. So I definitely need to fix so they can see each other's messages. I also need to default to one of them to initially answer a question, so I'm not scrolling back. I don't think the Discord plugin for Claude supports threads yet. Could always add it, I guess, but I'm not going to deviate from whatever they've created. All right, so they're both thinking. Yeah, so Friday identified that this was Sunday's task to add to my Notion database. And so it's doing that now, I would suppose. Sunday's going to take her time. There we go. Done. Combine both perspectives on one page under Cockamamie ideas. Memory enhancements, Apache AGE graph layer, what graph, vector, and graph together. 6 implementation steps, Friday schema design, my container infrastructure details, example queries, risk assessment. And so I can open that. And then we got that right here. And then I'll just iterate on this a little bit. Ultimately, it's a test, so I don't care that much. But yeah, it seems to work.